Welcome. This is Colleen Waterston with Sorting Through Life on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I am Colleen Waterston. I am a home organizer with Space by Space Organizing, a Twin Cities-based home organizing business. And today I am so excited to have Carole Hyder here, a Feng Shui expert. Welcome, Carole.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, Colleen. Thank you.
Let's give everyone a little background on you. So you have degrees in education, French, and art, a master's in East Asian studies. You had a business, CW Glass Design, which became known worldwide as a commercial glass etching studio. You made custom blasting or acid etching panels, shipped all over the world. And in 1992, you first heard of the term Feng Shui, which you told me you heard of Feng Shui
Yeah,
at the time.
that's right.
Your first major teacher in this field was His Holiness Professor Thomas Lin Yun, a Buddhist Lama from Taiwan, living in Berkeley, California. And you wrote that because of all the changes going on in the world due to Feng Shui, my friends couldn't help but notice, so I helped them too. Their friends called me, I helped them as well. And that you credit the propulsion of your Feng Shui business to the fact that you live in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, which is open to alternative seekers abound,
hmm
or
hmm
where open and alternative seekers abound. I love that.
Yes.
And in 1998, you published Wind and Water, your personal Feng Shui journey. Then you founded the Wind and Water Center. And then in 2001, you published Living Feng Shui, personal stories of different clients that you'd worked with. And in 2011, you published Conversations with Your Home. And over the years, you've been involved in hundreds of private consultations, ranging from studio apartments to hospitals and hotels. I know healthcare is very important to you. And now you're here on Sorting Through
Now I'm
Life.
here, the culmination of this great path. Yeah.
I love it. I am so excited to learn from you. So I'm a home organizer, and I feel like I am very good at where things should go, telling a client, like, I think, why do we have this here? Let's move this around,
hmm
bringing in new pieces of furniture that will bring better order. But reading your books and learning a little more about Feng Shui, I'm like, there is so much to learn here. There is so much behind what you know. So, what is Feng Shui? For those who haven't spent some time prepping for an interview with you.
Okay. Well, in brief, feng means it's Chinese and it means wind. Feng means wind, and shui means water. So what that implies is that when feng shui was originally coming around, it was for the agrarian society, because they were looking where to put the crops, if the sun comes this way, if the wind's over here, if there's no water, if there is water. And so um they would hire somebody that they called a geomancer, who would come out with a makeshift compass and tell them about their land, and they'd taste the soil, and spin the soil around and all that. um Emperors started saying they weren't agrarian, but they had a palace. And then they started using geomancers to place, should the palace be here? Do I need water over here? They weren't taking it inside. They were basically, where on the land should this be? The story goes is that they would hire their geomancer and then they'd kill them afterwards, because they didn't want other people to know the secrets.
Totally.
Many of us still live with that idea. But anyway, nobody's
Wow.
killed us. So it started in China. I think most Asian cultures have a form of it. It's a it's really about being thoughtful about your space. In this case, in the early days, it was about the land. I seldom do any land readings. Now it's all inside.
You don't taste dirt.
I, I got over it.
Okay.
Thank you, though. But yes.
As a child.
Yeah. So lo and behold, I was sort of in between careers, and this took off. And this comment about the Twin Cities being so open, because in the beginning there was just a small group of us who would go out to Berkeley and study, and I was the only one who was doing work. I mean, Minneapolis, St. Paul, people were just, just it was endless calls and, come and speak here, and I want you to speak to my group, and I want you to hear. And I really credit that to the wisdom that lives here in the Twin City area. So um, I don't do decluttering, but
Mhm.
we do talk about it
We will talk
because
about it.
that is often that's often where I will start. Is tell me about this corner.
Mhm.
Tell me about what's happening over here, or
Mhm.
the kitchen. Tell me. And there, I specifically say don't clean up before I get there.
Same here.
Do
I
you?
think I think we have a similar consult process.
I bet we do.
So
Yeah.
where I say don't clean up,
Yeah.
like I have to see your problem areas because
Yes.
how will I fix them?
That's right. If I show up and they say, "Oh, well, we moved the bed and then I cleaned up the closet," and it's like, well, maybe you didn't need to do any of those things.
Right.
Maybe that's not the important
I
thing.
like to meet you exactly as you are
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
that I can experience what you experience.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
coming in and I've done a couple consults on virtual consults,
Oh yeah.
and some organizers in the industry say that I've actually been told an in-home consultation, which is, prior to doing work, um, makes you feel better than the client. And I
Huh.
thought, okay, let me think on that. That's a little interesting. And this was a couple years into my business where I heard that. So I played with it a few times. And I did, send me pictures,
Yep.
send me a video,
Hmm.
send me FaceTime. And even if they had done all those things, showing up, I can think right now of two women that I showed up to work for. I felt so uneasy the morning that I was going there, even filled
Oh
with all the
yeah.
supplies I
Hmm.
needed. And I did a great job once I got there. But I remember the feeling of driving was like, I'm about to just drive up and overhaul a space in their house. And I have not even, shook their hand, looked at them
Yeah.
face to face. Like I'm about to get into their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, and then also when I show up, they might be hiring me for one space, or in their mind, this is
Yeah.
the problem
Yeah.
area,
Hmm.
but it's usually always not the actual
Oh, I
problem.
have the same thing. Hmm. Yeah.
It's like, this is the problem that you think you have, but let me tell you the underlying problem of why this is your
Hmm.
problem. Like
Hmm.
there's three things that are contributing to this.
That's
And
right.
so, but I often need to be on site to be able to walk around and realize this closet plays with this area, or it could play with this, but
Hmm.
it has tension. I feel like, you talk about conversations with your home and how your home has that energy. It's like
Hmm.
I say, these these spaces play with each other or fight with each other. Like they
Hmm.
really do have energy. And it's
Yep.
like this one doesn't like this one. They're conflicting goals right in the same space. So it's like if I'm able to go, there was this one client that one of the ones that I had gone to without the in-person consult. And I'm there and the place that I was working on, like this back mudroom area, I had no idea where it was situated in the house. In my mind,
Oh.
even from the pictures and her telling me it was off the
Hmm.
kitchen, I didn't realize it was upstairs from the garage. Like oh my goodness, okay. And then I'm like, well, where's the closet? There's some gift wrap here, but you said there's gift wrap somewhere else. And it's like, where's that closet? Because is that an easy thing to incorporate so that we can move the gift
Yeah.
wrap from
Yeah. Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So it was like, now I'm on site and trying to work, but I'm still trying to figure out the job. Like I can't fix this for you if I don't deal with that other closet
Hmm.
that has the same stuff that you put here. So it's like, to me, I I love, and it's like a puzzle to solve every time I go into someone's
Hmm.
house and just get to put my brain to work on it because it's brand new. So even like getting the pictures sometimes can color my first impression.
I learned to do long distance appointments during COVID.
You had to.
Yeah, I had to.
Yes.
But you see, I insist on a blueprint.
Yeah, I
I
don't
need,
need that.
yeah, I need a floor plan, a blueprint, because I use kind of a mental map that
Mhm.
I overlay over the space, and then that tells me where things are from in my world.
Let's talk about that mental map. Are you talking about the Bagua?
Bagua, yeah, it's a bagua.
Explain that.
Yeah, ba means eight and gua means sides. There's 8 segments all around, but then there's a centerpiece. So there's actually 9, and each one of those holds a an energy. There's like a wealth gua. There's like a an area for relationship, there's an area for health, there's an area for knowledge, there's an area for your children, so I look at that, and if I'm there, I can see right away. I might prompt them and say, "How is your relationship solid? Are you doing okay?" Because I just looked over there and, the door was off the hinges, or, there was just clothes hanging all over the place and something. So similar to what you do, you find the problem, but I can identify the problem just from looking at the blueprint.
How did this come up? So it is. It's like back left corner is wealth,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
far right corner partnership,
That's a
upright
long
corner helpful
story.
people.
It's
Yeah.
a long story.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes from, kind of a mandala that was set up on how you move through these areas. It's irrelevant, quite honestly, to the client. They
But it does have
but it has meaning, total
meaning,
meaning behind it
tested.
all. Yes, yes. It's very ancient pattern, by the
Okay.
way. And if anybody, sometimes I get a client that will say, a lot of times I ask people, would you like to do a blessing or a clearing?
Mhm.
And they'll go, "Oh," sometimes they're like, "Yeah, no thanks." And sometimes people will say, "I would like that."
Mhm.
We walk in a particular order based on those areas. We start in what's called a family, and then we move to wealth, and so we walk in that pattern, which adds to the power of clearing this space. And the client will go with me.
Mhm.
Sometimes I have a bell. Sometimes we open windows to clear things, and we go to each area, and I stop and I'll say something to them about, here's what this area means. Think about, is there something here you'd like to add, take away, change? And they just think about it. We don't want a conversation at that point. And then we go to the next area, and I'll tell them what that area is and ring the bell again. And is there something here? Sometimes a lot of their house is fine, but then we get to one area and you can just see them start to shrivel, and I'll go, just keep in mind, what's going on here. And then we sit down and talk about it.
Mhm.
And so there may not be clutter in that problem area. There may not be, but most of the time there is. But sometimes if there isn't clutter, there's something there that they don't like. They feel like I work with people who feel like there's a spirit in the house,
Mhm.
and they're really upset about that. And but physically the space looks great.
Mhm.
So that isn't my cue always. Probably 50% of the time it is.
There are sometimes I've gone on a consult, not often. I am a home organizer.
Mhm.
Someone's asking me to come because they are seeking organization,
Sure.
but I've gone on a couple consults, and I get there and I'm kind of like, I'm not the home photographer. Like, your house looks
Uh,
great. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful. It's pristine. Every surface is clear. And and it's, wow, what a gorgeous home. Then you open or try to
Yeah, yeah,
open the drawer,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, "Oh,
Here
okay,
we
this
go.
is why I'm here.
Well,
You're a shover." That's what I call those people. I love
it's
everybody. I
great.
love my clients, the shovers, but it's
Sure.
like, "Oh, it looks beautiful on the surface.
Mhm.
It's clean on the surface, but everything, you can't
You
open
can,
drawers. The
yeah.
closets have been, I had this one client, one of my favorite clients ever, and just one of the nicest, um, most fun energy type people, just generous and happy. And she lived in Hugo, and that was a drive for me.
Mhm.
And I loved it because I was just like, it was like a destination of a fun time when I was there. But her closet had, um, so much in it that I had just bought these foam blocks for a room in my house, under, longer story than it needs to be, but my niece wanted a secret room, and I made a space themed foam pit where the kids can jump in the closet underneath the stairs. So I got these foam things that arrive compact, with all the air taken out of
Oh,
them,
yeah,
and then it
yeah.
takes a couple days to turn them into foam. That's what this woman's closet had been. Those foam, because everything was so compact,
Oh,
so shoved that by the time we took out her closet, it was like 3 times the size of the
yeah.
closet. I'm like, "We can't put all this back in. This has been,
Mhm.
every bit of air has been compressed." And then she would, just because you couldn't get in, was buying new. Weight
Oh,
had shifted,
sure,
kids had
sure,
been
sure.
had, weight had shifted. So it was just this time where it was like, we need to get your closet as amazing as you are. Like, you are so fun. You should feel fun,
Yeah, in the
getting
closet,
yourself
all the
ready to
corners
go
should
into the
be fun
world.
if you're fun. Yes, absolutely.
But
I agree.
she was a shover. Um
So one of the first things I do before I hit the ground with them is I come in and say, "Why am I here?
Mm,
What do you want from what is it why did you call me?" Sometimes we've had a preliminary discussion on the phone, but I want to see them tell me in person. I want to see their expression. They'll say,
mhm,
"Oh, well, the kitchen needs work." Well, I look on the map, I look on my blueprint and see where's the kitchen, and then I'll say, "Why am I here?
mhm.
What would you like me to hone in on?" I give them assignments. You do it for them,
You
but
do it.
I give them assignments, and I don't. I've used to follow up, like call them later and say how to go. It got awkward because sometimes people are like, "Oh, geez, I haven't done anything." So I don't do that. It's their responsibility.
Oh, and see, I'm like, I will be here until every piece of underwear is folded in that drawer.
Yeah. Well, that is beyond my scope.
Yeah. Different service, but glad to be learning from yours. Okay, we are going to take a short break. We'll come back. Let's dive into that why you're there
Yeah.
for people.
Okay. Okay.
Let's go there next.
That'd
So,
be great.
we'll be right back. This is Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston. Happy to have Carole Hyder here and AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. All right, we are back. This is Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I am here with the lovely, beautiful, very talented, and all-knowing Feng Shui expert, Carole Hyder. Um, okay, Carole, so you are a Feng Shui expert.
Mhm.
If anybody just tuned in, what is a Feng Shui expert?
Well, what I do is I help people understand their home. And I do that. I don't declutter, but I might point out clutter. Um, and the reason that's important is because your space reflects your life. When somebody is like when I hear somebody on the phone calling and saying, "Oh, I'm just so scattered. I can't think straight. I'm not sleeping right." I already have a picture here,
Mm-hmm.
and so I will give them a whole list of clear stuff out from under your bed. Don't have the bed that way. Don't You're under a window. You do you use your front door? Just some minor things that can make major changes for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I think there have been over the years only a handful that have said nothing ever happened. I did all that and nothing happened. And I had to, because one of the things that needs to get infused into this feng shui action is your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just do it because I said so. That's not going to help you. Do it because you go, I want to sleep better. I want to have better dreams. I want to feel better. I'm moving this stupid bed,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a connection there between your life will get better and you have a different arrangement.
Now, when you talk about intention,
Mhm.
how much do people think then, okay, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Mhm.
It's just the placebo effect because I'm telling myself this has intention. But then there are specific things you're telling people to do
Mhm.
or why they're putting that bed under this way.
And
In your book, you talk about if you're in the process of helping somebody design the layout before the house is built, you've had people put coins in walls.
yes.
You've got
Mhm.
what else in walls? There was another thing you referenced in
Oh, you
walls.
can put a little boat by the front in the wall by the front door with your ship coming in. You can write intentions on the walls and then paint over them.
Okay.
Um, and here's what that does, because you don't have to tell everybody. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I've had women call me and say, 'Please come, but I can't have my husband know you've been here.'" And so she's had to come up with some sort of way to, I moved the furniture just because. But in her mind, maybe this is helping her feel better in her marriage or feel more empowered about working, and she doesn't have to tell anybody that.
Mhm.
But there's a synapse that happens in your brain. And so sometimes people say, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. When you can come out, can you come out any sooner than that? I'll say, look, I can't come out for a couple of weeks. Just rearrange your furniture. Just rearrange it, because it changes your brain.
Mhm.
There used to be this old adage about if you want to change your work, the situation at work, drive to work a different way. It's the
Mm.
same thing,
Mhm.
like rearrange your space, because right there you've got a different message coming to you. Now, you may
Mhm.
not like it, and then you would rearrange it again, but sometimes you have to, rearrange things in different ways before you go, oh my God, I love this.
Right.
And as soon as you love it, your whole system starts to kick in.
Mhm.
And it could be pretty magical. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's the right word, but it could be very supportive,
Right.
where you suddenly feel empowered, or you feel like you've got clarity around something. Um, and I got a million stories on how something that was hidden in the attic was changed. And she went, I can't believe what happened to my business once I did that.
Sure.
So it may feel obscure. No one but you, or a spouse or your family knows what you did. You wrote all those intentions on the wall, and then you painted over it. It's like you don't forget that.
Right. You know it's under
You
there.
know it's there.
Yeah.
And if anything, I mean, they have to be positive affirmations.
Mhm.
And if anything, there's this moment of an inner smile that goes, yeah,
Yeah.
I wrote abundance over there, and I wrote health over there.
Well, and especially if you're in the same home as maybe something a partner that passed or a partner
Yes.
who's not
Yes.
there, or a child's moved on, or
Yeah.
there's different things in people's lives where ideally you could start fresh,
Yeah.
but in a lot of situations that's physically
That's
impossible.
right. That's
So,
right.
how can we within the walls that we are in feel fresh?
Yeah.
Have a fresh start, give ourselves a new moment that feels okay, can't afford a new bed after this divorce, but I don't like the energy of going to the
Yeah.
same bed I've been in.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like you talk about new pillows, new sheets,
Yeah.
or but
Something minor.
but
Something
maybe it
minor like
is
that.
writing something under, I don't know it. I'm not the feng shui expert, but I imagine that there's all these different little tips that I'm starting to learn about. I'm like, I'm going to be going through my own house and my client homes so much differently now that I have
Mm-hmm.
some of this in my head.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you hit on something there about this doesn't have to be a whole redesign or a whole, you, I'm very open about you got to get this stuff out, off your dresser,
Yes.
clear your dresser. It's just really important. And then maybe put a picture of you and your spouse. I mean,
Hmm.
especially if that's a problem.
Sure.
Maybe they're going through a rough patch, or maybe they're staring down the barrel of a divorce, but still, something that speaks to your heart.
Hmm.
Because we all set stuff down, oh yeah, I'll just leave it here, I'll see here, and then pretty soon you can't see the top of the dresser or the top of the counter or the top of the coffee table, and it's just clear emptiness space. I don't know about how you feel about that, but I love it when people have an empty corner. And aren't they uncomfortable? Like I'll say, what is that beat up chair that you didn't want me to sit in because it's broken? What's that doing there? Well, it's otherwise, what would I put in that corner? Uh, Nothing. How about nothing?
How
Like,
about nothing?
yeah, how about nothing? Get it out of there. You can't use it. You were apologizing about that chair. I could have sat in and broke my neck.
Yeah, then you'd really be apologizing.
Yes. But we're so afraid of that empty. Oh,
Yeah.
but won't that look stark? Won't that look like I'm impoverished? And quite the opposite.
Yeah, that you have space for more.
Yes. Yeah.
That you have so much space, you can have some empty
Yes.
shelves. You can
Yes.
have some. I'm always referring to client stuff in percentages, and it's not exact. It's a Colleen math thing, where I'm like, I think we need to get rid of about 30% of what's in here.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe they can get rid of 20%. So now I need to find a different spot for that other 10, because in this space that we are organizing, it is 30% too full. I don't even know if that's exactly the math of how you'd refer to it,
Hmm.
but I do refer to percentages, and so far my clients have understood what I was
Well,
saying.
sure. Sure.
But I have this one client, we were in her bathroom, and she's very aware that she is has a lot of clutter, and she says, like, I'm her not a marriage therapist, she's just like, I'm the gift that she gives to her husband by
Oh.
being there and keeping her in order. She's like, "I'm doing this for him because she doesn't see it."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "It doesn't bother me." And there was this one thing I was doing in her bathroom, and it was kinda like the end of the day, and I'm like, "I think this could be better, but, here we are, what do you" and she's like, "Oh, that doesn't bother me at all." And I said, "I would love to spend a day in your brain and not be bothered by that." Like, and she was
Yeah.
like, "I would love to spend a day in your brain and be bothered," because it just
Yeah.
and so when I've been doing this job, I've realized that not everybody sees the same things,
Of
and
course. Of
especially in their
course.
own homes where you see something so frequently, it's almost like, that feeling that you are taken advantage of because you're just always there for someone, it's a reliable. So it's like some things in our home we just until we shift them around, we don't realize
We don't realize it.
this wasn't optimal. But I do feel that within a household, people sometimes I think the partner who is not uh, is not the messy one, but loves the messy one dearly,
Mhm.
has developed their own tunnel
I think you're
vision.
right. Yeah, they've got some, yeah, they've
I
got.
can see the routes
Mhm.
that they take in the house that's like around it, and then I come in and I so you stop at the consult really, like, you give a very high level consultation, expertise, sometimes you write things up,
Sometimes
but
they'll write it up, yeah.
you
Mhm.
really say, "Here is what I
And
know."
I prioritize it for them because
Okay.
if we're going, like if somebody says, "Oh, I'm dealing with a health issue, money is really a problem, and I hate my job." So which one is the one that is hurting you the most?
Mhm.
And then she might say, "Well, my job. If I had a better job, I know my health would be better, and I think money would be better." Well, let's start in the career area
Mhm.
because that's going to start, so I do prioritize for them so they aren't all over the place and not trying to make it an intentional adjustment there.
This is where my business, since I started, has really become whole home organizing because I have a very hard time saying, "Oh, we'll just focus on the office."
Oh,
Because I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
but where is everything else that belongs
yeah,
here, and where
yeah.
does everything that's in here actually belong?" The client I'm in right now, um, I think we're on day 8 and 3 of us, 5, 6-hour days, and the client is very involved this time. Um, we were in her house 2 years ago, and it's it's a compact situation in every room for 4 people using it, so it's not the biggest amount of space. So every space has a lot of utility and a lot of pressure. We came in 2 years ago, and I actually recorded it when we came in a few weeks ago for the first time because I said, people will say, "What does it look like after you leave?"
Hmm.
Because we do everything.
Everything, yes, yeah.
We to the from pulling it out to,
Hmm.
we don't clean, but we'll do a vinegar water solution, a dusting. I don't put something back in a dust or
Hmm.
unclean space, but it's not the deepest clean you've ever seen. Um, but then, to the label at the end, it's a very full service. We
Yeah,
don't wear white gloves, but it's there.
yeah.
Um, and and they say, "Well, what happens after you leave?" And I say, "Hopefully, I've designed a system so custom to them that it's still good." And so this one client 2 years later, and I show, like, it's actually really still good. Everywhere that we touched, and you can see it because we have our label on it,
Hmm.
is still in pretty good shape. You turn your eyes to everywhere we didn't get to, and there's no system there. And these people are very smart, very high achieving people. They are not
They can't figure
spatially
it out, yeah,
intelligent,
yeah.
leading people. So we've been working on this, and the woman is in her profession and also in grad school. And grad school's been hard because it's just there's so much going on in this house. How do you focus? There's so many things to go and do. And the office is where she needs, but the rest of the house, we're finally this week going to finish the office, and we will have finished the rest of the house. I have never been more proud of my team and a crawl space.
Oh,
What is going on in a space that no guest will ever see? I am so excited for this family because holiday is where holiday is. The things that don't belong are no longer there. Like, and it's, we've all hit our head and our backs a little bit. Like, it's
yeah.
it's not it's not glamorous, but it's just so meaningful and rewarding. And I'm like, so excited for this woman to know that the crawl space on which the house rests and sits upon, and you say everything has energy.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like that chaotic energy, and it would be, we'll just throw it in the crawl space. Was this
Yeah.
this family? So then now the crawl space has become actually the entire basement because that's where things
Oh.
go into the crawl space. But I guarantee, because I know how well this family has kept up what we did 2 years ago, that this time around, because we've committed to doing it all, I mean, every little bit, like, I am so excited for her. Like, the client and I are just delighting, and like, your grades are going to be so great. Like, your kids' grades, and her kids are young. I'm like, they're never going to remember you as messy, because they're just going to remember you as a fun mom. And now their memories, which they're reaching memory age, aren't going to be like there was stuff everywhere, because she's really prioritizing getting a handle. And I'm so excited for her. But I've been thinking about all of your different feng shui flow things. I I have a question, but I'm going to save it for the next, unless you have something else to say. I think we go, 'cause I've got a question I want to start with
Okay.
next time around.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Okay, cliffhanger, everybody. What does she
Ooh.
have to ask?
Yikes.
Woo woo. All right, let's close out and be right back. This is Colleen Waterston, Sorting Through Life on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. All right, we are back. This is Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I am here with Carole Hyder, a Twin Cities based professional, very talented, and
Smart.
author of
Smart.
Feng Shui.
Oh,
Smart,
Okay.
humble,
That's right.
all the best things. But no, truly smart, beautiful. You radiate. I got 16 minutes left. We can keep let's keep going on the topic
I
so we
think we
can
should.
show them how smart you
Yeah. Yeah.
are
Yeah. Let's do
on
that.
all of
Yeah.
this.
And
But I'm
humble.
telling you, she is. I've been diving into her books, and I've been learning a lot. And is there anything that people hire you for, and you get to the consult and you're like, oh, this really isn't my area?
Actually, there are couple things. Some of them think I'm an architect,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not. I don't know how that landed.
But an incredible asset to an architect.
Yes, but I work with architects.
Yeah.
And so they'll say, "Do you think this wall it should be moved?" And it's like, well, I don't. I don't know if we can move it. B, I don't know.
But in the blueprint stage, like when
I
somebody's
should
building
know
a house,
that.
that is a great time to
That's a
come
good
in.
time to move walls. I can help with
Or
that.
to call and say, because you talked in your book about, moving a garage that was at a
Yeah.
diagonal, and
Yeah.
just rethinking how the house flows within itself. You can do that while it's on a piece
Well,
of
it's on a
paper a
piece of
lot
paper.
easier.
Yeah.
So call her if you're designing a house
Yep.
and you want to do well within it. If you want to have, where would your office be if you're working from home and you would like to make money from
Yeah.
what you do?
Yeah. The other thing people misunderstand about what I do is they'll kind of point in a corner and say, "What do I do about this clutter? What I need help." See, and then I don't do that. I get rid of
Now, I'll
get
give
rid of
you a
it.
big stack of my business
But now,
cards.
yes, now I have
Yeah,
a resource to say, here's somebody
spaceorganizing.com.
who can do it.
Yep.
And one thing I do tell them is we in the whole feng shui world, the numbering system is really important, and the number 9 is like the culmination number. And and I'll say to somebody, look, you probably need some professional help with this, but one thing you could do is spend 9 minutes a day decluttering this area. Of course, that sounds ridiculous if it's just the whole basement, but you know, after 9 days, you've done over an hour and a half of work down there, and you haven't exhausted yourself. Because I find that's the problem. If people try to do it themselves, they just spend the entire weekend and they're mad and they hate stuff and they just start throwing things.
Mhm.
So 9 minutes a day, and I'll say, have a timer. When you're done, drop it. You're done.
9 minutes is so small to me. But I
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
find just to plug my services in that moment, I find that tools, like the right containers,
Yes.
are to an
Yes.
organizer what a hammer is to a handyman,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
many other a drill
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
too, because it's like you cannot hang a picture with a pen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't get that. You have to have the right tool to it. So I find that when people pull everything out on their own,
Hmm.
and then they're I've had clients send me, Instagram viral things of, somebody in their closet being like memes, I pulled it all out. Now I don't know what to do. And
Yeah.
it's this
Yeah.
moment of, I have no idea what to do. And then you want to just shove it back in.
Hmm.
It's like, if you don't have the right things to put your stuff back,
Hmm.
it can be just as
Worse. Yeah. It
frustrating.
can be
Yeah.
worse.
If
Yeah.
not worse,
Hmm.
because like that effect of everything kind of gets air for the first time in a long time. And now it actually takes up more space. There's not enough room to put everything back in the way
Yeah.
that you had
I
it.
like to think, and I think some people have subscribed to this. If they do 9 minutes, it's a little more mindful.
Mhm.
They aren't, at least you wouldn't get your whole closet out probably in 9 minutes, but you might get part of it. And
Or
you'd be
you
looking at
you say
things,
9 things.
or nine
You
things.
said that
Yes,
too. If you take
yes,
9 things out for
yeah,
9 days,
yes,
9 things.
yeah,
Say walk around your house,
yeah,
grab 9 things, put them in. My cousin did this one month where every day she got rid of something. So
yeah,
at the end of the month, she had this big pile
yeah,
and she felt so good about
yeah.
it. It was only a month.
And it didn't take all day,
Nope.
and it was no, yeah,
She picked a drawer to go through, or a closet shelf, and was there anything on there that she didn't like, that wasn't serving her? And then after she came to me and said, where do I bring all this? I said, I'll donate it all on your behalf, figure out what to do with it. But I was so proud of her
yeah.
for that.
That is a good way.
So
That isn't,
from
if you've got a huge project that they need you.
yes, everyone needs me is what I say. But I can bring Uh, all right. So we both have healthy confidence here, and that's
Yes, we
that's
do.
important.
That is important.
That means that we really love what we do,
Mhm.
and we feel that we are worth having us into your home. But today, if we aren't going into someone's home, give us, like, let's come up with a few tangible tips, like things that I wouldn't know if I didn't know feng shui, that I could look into more or do in my house. I want to talk about mirrors. I want to talk about front doors, and I think you want to talk about bedrooms.
Um,
Let's start with the front door, because you walk in a door.
well,
Why is it so
I would
important?
say 50% of the people don't use their front door. I mean, and here the front door is like your calling card. I
Hmm.
mean, when people drive by, hopefully they can see your front door. I suggest that if it doesn't work, get it fixed. Maybe hang a wreath on it or paint it a really cool color and use the front door. Use it. This is where opportunities come. They come knocking at that door. They don't go around to the back door.
You also talk about if the front door is aligned with like a window behind it, then things could go out.
Right,
Like you
straight
need to
out.
be.
Yeah, straight out and back. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what you don't want is that alleyway where sometimes it's a front door and then there's patio doors right on the other side, and it's the idea is that you've created sort of a freeway, and you
Mm.
can put things in between like a table or a big plant or something. I mean, you're not going to have to remodel, but you want to be aware that when you come in the front door, and if you're parking in the back and you got groceries, and I get it, you come in the back door, but maybe at least once or twice a week you walk out that front door,
Or if you're welcoming friends,
or if you're
and
welcoming
then you
friends.
have a
Yeah.
couple examples in your book of, there was like a big filing cabinet there. There was
Yeah.
actually a bookshelf closing it off, like
Yes.
very
Yes.
intentionally. So
Yes.
being half opened or fully
Yeah.
closed, you're saying gotta go.
It's got to be able to work. I've been in a lot of houses where they'll say, I don't even have the key anymore. It's
Oh my
been
goodness.
locked so long.
Yeah.
Think of a fire. I mean, what if you
Yeah.
had a fire? There you go. So that is a really important thing. And I've just seen some interesting things happen with people who've just worked on their front door because it set up something for them. It's like,
Mhm.
look at that. I'm going to go clean out the kitchen. I mean, sometimes
I
there's a
painted
leak.
mine. Mine's fuchsia. and
Of course it is.
and I love it, and I get so many compliments, which makes me love it every time
Yeah.
somebody says it,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
it's something that's notable, and it does. It makes me smile upon arrival when I go through the front door. Now, this is just a silly question, maybe, maybe not, but if I so I park in my garage, which is something I'm proud of as a professional organizer. My garage once was a warehouse.
Yeah. Now
It's
you
been
can
a lot
park
of
in it.
different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Um, but if my car is in the garage, should I still be going through the front door and just open up the garage door from the inside of the house and go through, or should I be walking in? Is it
Well, be sensible about it. I mean, if it's storming outside, just go in the house.
but going in? Yeah,
I mean, from time to time, you don't want to forget about it.
yes, which people
Oh,
have
yeah,
forgotten is what
they
you
totally
said.
forget about it. Yeah. Now, the most important room of all, can you guess which room that is?
The bedroom,
It is.
the place of rest
Yes.
and recovery.
And dreams
Mhm.
and expectations. And I want to say to everybody, if you don't just love your bedroom, do something about that because it's where you rejuvenate.
Mhm.
It's an intimate space. It's where you go when you don't feel good. You heal. You dream there. It needs to be you. Like
I I have space in my life now, which I'm very grateful for, but in Washington, D.C., I had 383 square feet,
oh,
and
that
when
was
people would say 380, I would say 383 square feet. Like,
didn't want to lose
when you
that
have
three.
that little, you appreciate
Yeah.
every bit. But, I'd originally committed to a different they were old nurses' quarters built in a long time ago, and they'd been converted to apartments, and they were just small, but they were different arrangements, and I loved the one that I picked. But even that was really important to me to use furniture in a way that this was my living room,
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
my bedroom, this was my entry because I wanted to be able to go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I think you're getting at,
Yes, I
especially
am.
is that
Hmm.
when when you go to rest, it should be a place that is conducive to restfulness.
Yeah.
What was it about where your feet go? There was something you said about the Chinese when you take a person's body who has passed out,
Out.
you take them with their feet
Feet
out?
out first, so you don't necessarily want to sleep that way.
Okay, to the door, not the front door, just
No, door to
the
the
door of
bedroom.
the bedroom,
Door to the
because
bedroom. Yeah.
within all of these layouts of this corner, it's the whole house, and then you can go into every doorway, every room.
Uh,
Like, you could take the bedroom, that bagua,
yeah.
and do
Yes.
it with the
Yes.
bedroom
Yes. Yes.
as
You can.
well as the whole
That's
house.
right. That's right. You can do mini versions of it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. You sure
so
can.
that's where it's like, if you want more abundance and success, then in your bedroom, you can create
Yes.
something in the back left
That's
corner
right.
that
That's right.
calls that in, as
Yes.
well as looking at where that is in your
In
whole
their whole
house.
house. Yes. So you
Then
kind of can layer them. You can do it on top of a desk. You could lay
oh,
that whole bagua
interesting.
layout on the desk. So you can do it. It depends on the urgency of the situation.
Mhm.
And of course, like if health's an issue, now the middle of your desk is the health area. That makes it a little unhandy to put something there. But
Okay.
you could put something there when you're done working
Yeah.
to just remind you of that. So the other thing about the bed and the bedroom is you want a headboard. You want to store nothing under the bed unless it's soft things like clothes, out of season clothes, or extra bedding.
Mhm.
But your taxes or
I
books,
when I'm decluttering people's homes and organizing their homes, I really try as much as I can to get I mean, if we're in the bedroom, we're pulling everything out, but making that bedroom be a place that is restful, and even if they have the under the bed boxes, if they don't need them, I say, I think you're supposed to have this be clear." Am I
yes,
right?
yes, you're absolutely
Okay.
right. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
I've been telling people that
yeah.
without an expert
Well,
stamp of
think about
approval.
this. People put golf clubs under there. Well, how restful
That
is
sounds like
that?
a "I'm mad at you in the middle of the night, I
Yeah.
can whack you." That's where my mind goes.
Yeah,
"Oh, no.
yeah,
What does
or
that say about me?"
suitcases, or well, I've certainly seen weapons under their bed.
I have a friend who is an organizer, and she said that there is a man that is having all sorts of, not relationship issues or something, and then not meeting someone, and then under his bed was a gun.
Yeah.
And she's like, this might have something to do with
Yes,
that.
yes. Yes, it might.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the bedroom really, I've done appointments where we've spent most of the time in the bedroom, especially if there's relationship issues. Like what's going on here? You want pairs of things in the bedroom, 2 nightstands, 2 lamps that are similar or exact, like even number of pillows.
Even if there's only one person.
Yeah, because then it balances yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, then you have a balance within.
Should someone be sleeping in the middle? Does that matter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Just find the side that you like. So,
and I love our overlap of what we do. I feel is really compassion driven. Of we want the best for you.
Yeah.
We're not here to be nosy and ask, "Are you fighting with your partner?" It's is there tension that I can help relieve? Is really the question behind those asks. Is really trying to identify what's going on here so that I can help release that for you.
The other thing I get pushback on is pictures in a bedroom. What's your artwork like? And the rule is you should have no one's picture in there unless it's yours.
I read that in your book as well, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, because people tend to put all their kids up on the wall. Okay, this is an intimate space, and put them in the hallway leading to your bedroom or some other place. But or grandma and grandpa, really, you want them on your nightstand there by you?
Okay, we only have a couple minutes, and I want to hear about mirrors.
Oh, mirrors. Yeah, they're a big thing in Feng Shui. They can move something from one side of the room to the other. They can expand a room. What else have we used them for?
You talked about putting them on burner, upside down on things.
You can put them upside down on things. We use them on stoves, they're like a water element that because they're watery, and we use it on a stove to kind of balance out the burners. You just or you could put it on the wall behind there just to prop it up. Let's see, what else have we done with mirrors? Well, if you've got a small little hallway, putting a mirror on there is fine. If you have a dining room, putting a mirror in there doubles your food, meaning you have lots of money and can feed everybody. We don't like them in the bedroom at all. No mirrors in the bedroom ever.
Wow.
Yep. I suggest to people that if they've got a mirror over their dresser, first of all, a lot of them are too small, too short, so you don't use them. Then get them out, or put it in a closet where you might be dressing. But you just don't want it in the same room as a bedroom. It's too much activity, moves things around.
I think we have a similar vibe with people where it's like, I equally want you to come over, and I equally worry about what you might say. Even myself. So I thank you for being here, Carole. I don't know how we're done with time. We'll have to come back together.
We will.
This is Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Thank you for being here. Stay warm, Minnesota, and stay kind. And we'll see you next week.